Welcome to the Degenerates podcast. I'm Ethan. I'm joined here by Nick and Sarvad, and we're here to talk all things football. First up, we got the NFL MVP race. About a quarter way through the season right now, I'm going to say the MVP race is down between Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert. And I know Justin Herbert might be a surprising take for both of you guys, but Justin Herbert, I'm telling you, he's leading the Chargers, 3-1 start. They've had a very difficult schedule. They beat the Chiefs, and they just beat the Oakland Raiders. And Justin Herbert is looking fantastic. And I know that might come surprising, but I'm telling you, Justin Herbert, book it. He's going to be a strong competitor.
I know Derek Carr didn't play that well. He was all right against the Chargers, but he still leads the league in passing yards.
No, he was not all right.
The Raiders are still
They went down.
Dude,
21-0.
Joey Bosa exposed them.
His offensive line is so bad, okay?
Okay, but Joey Bosa exposed. Joey Bosa said himself. He said, as soon as you get pressure on Derek Carr, he folds.
That is
he
true.
Folds.
He sucks.
But you also can't just take away
Did
everything
you see
he
the
did
video
in the first
of him
games.
curling into a ball before they even sacked him?
Okay, I have to admit, being a Ravens fan, he did beat the Ravens. The Ravens played awful that second half.
They did, I know.
And that opened up the door for Derek Carr to win.
I know, yeah. He's taking advantage of his opportunities. The Raiders have been down every game this year, and he still managed to take them back and make them come back to win.
Here's the thing.
3-1.
I
I don't think you can discredit that.
Okay,
well,
I have a
one
sleeper.
game.
I have a sleeper for MVP who I think has a better chance than even Derek Carr.
Who?
Joe Burrow.
No.
Nobody thought the Bengals.
Burrow?
Thought the Bengals were going to come out with the fire they did.
Do you know?
Nobody thought they did.
Did you watch?
Joe Burrow's going to win both comeback player of the year, and he might even contend for MVP if the Bengals can keep this up. I know that their schedule hasn't been that difficult so far, but here's the
They're
thing.
also in one of the hardest divisions in football.
No, I disagree.
How?
The
What do you
Steelers,
mean?
the Steelers,
The Bengals.
horrible.
Okay.
The Bengals, he's on the Bengals.
The Browns?
The Browns and the Ravens.
The Ravens
Both
are not good. I'm sorry.
They're both 3-1.
I hate to break it to you. The Ravens beat the Lions thanks to a game-winning field goal.
And then they beat the Chiefs.
And they shouldn't have even been in that position because it was a delay of game.
They beat the Chiefs, though.
No.
I mean, they're 3-1. They
The
beat
Chargers beat the Chiefs.
You're right. I'm not saying the Chargers are a bad team.
The Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah, I said they played extremely bad.
Can we talk about how the Chiefs have been extremely underwhelming this year? The Chiefs almost lost to the damn Eagles last week.
No.
They were horrible.
They have. Their defense
is awful.
They stat pad at the
Their
end. Tyreek Hill came away with his 47 fantasy points because at the end.
Yeah, fantasy. Got my first dub this week.
At the end, he came away with like a 60-yard touchdown pass in garbage time. But the Chiefs are not what they used to be.
They don't have Frank Clark, so they're
They don't have Frank Clark.
No
And they had to completely redesign their offensive line. Orlando Brown cannot pass block. He can only run block.
Dude, he's so good. Their offensive line cannot control.
I'm telling you,
scrimmage.
this has been something that I've held on to forever. Patrick Mahomes is not who everybody thinks he is. People are so ready to tout him as the best quarterback in the NFL after his 50 touchdowns.
He is the best. He is the best.
If you look at that season, he was led by yards after catch completely. Yards after catch got him at least half of those touchdowns.
Yeah, who do you
I went back and looked at that film. You look at that film.
Okay. Who's the best
25
quarterback?
of those-
Who's the best quarterback in the league?
I think it's really hard to tell at this point. If you asked me a year or two ago, I definitely would have said Russell Wilson. But at this point, I think Russell
maybe in the
Wilson,
first half of the season.
Yeah.
The second half of the
First
season, Russell Wilson
first
turns to
5 games.
crap.
First 5 games.
So right now, best quarterback in the league. I think that's hard to decide, especially since it's a new season. The season is young. I think by next year we will be saying Justin Herbert is top 3, if not the best quarterback in the league.
Next year, Josh Allen.
I agree. Josh Allen
think
might
Josh
be the
Allen
best quarterback in the league.
Will be the best quarterback
I-
in
Josh
the
Allen?
next 2 years.
I love Josh Allen as a player.
I do too.
Last year, I had him as my sleeper MVP. I have the Bills winning the Super Bowl this year.
Same.
The thing is, I just don't see enough hype around him right now. You saw,
he didn't play that
if
well.
you look at the MVP winner, it's always who has the most hype.
Mhm.
In 2017, it was going to be Carson Wentz before he got hurt because he had the most hype.
Yeah.
2018, you have Patrick Mahomes. He is the most hype. 2019, Lamar Jackson, hype. 2020, I mean, who even won last year?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's just an old face at this point. But then you have this year, the hype is around Justin Herbert and Kyler Murray. That's why those two are my favorites right now.
I would like to insert my MVP. So obviously it'd be easy for me to stand up here and say Kyler like you did. And then Josh Allen, I think he has a very good chance. They blew out 2 teams in back-to-back weeks. Granted, one was the Texans with pretty subpar quarterbacks. But I think it's, maybe it's my bias, but I generally think Lamar
say Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson.
He has a chance.
No.
He's a dark horse. Going into the season.
You know.
Justice Hill out for the year.
Okay.
J.K. Dobbins out for the year.
Listen.
Gus Edwards out for the year. Marcus Peters out for the year.
I don't care.
They are literally the best.
The
running
Lions
running
are
team.
0-4 right now, and they beat them by a 66. I would give Justin Tucker the MVP before I give it to
You know
Lamar.
what Lamar did that drive? He converted a 4th and 19.
You know what Lamar did that drive? He had a delay of game that was completely ignored by the officials.
Wow, that's not his fault. It's
No,
not his fault.
but
And you guys are
I'm
saying.
just saying.
You both said Derek Carr and Justin Herbert on a 3-1 team.
I didn't say Derek Carr.
No, you did.
Derek Carr sucks.
You guys
he
both
doesn't.
brought up that they were on a 3-1 team.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The Ravens are a 3-1 team.
Yeah.
He's
okay.
a dark
Also,
horse.
Lamar has 4 passing touchdowns this year, and he has less passing yards than Jared Goff and. Kirk
How many?
Cousins.
Wait, what's Lamar's passer rating right now?
Passer
Because if
rating.
you look at both Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert, passer ratings over 100. Kyler Murray's is at 115 right now, which is ridiculous.
If you look at all the leaders in passing yards, Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback with a below 90 passer rating.
Yeah.
Even Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Literally,
look at
Daniel
that.
Jones.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. Sam Darnold.
And he's not even a better runner than Sam Darnold, considering
Yeah.
Sam Darnold has the most rushing touchdowns in
Okay,
the
and
league
we're
this
just
year.
pulling stuff out of our butt now. I guess we could just make stuff up. Lamar Jackson is the best running quarterback in the league.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
obviously.
but-
he's not
No, but
producing as you would like him
He is producing.
to.
He's the only one on the team. He is top 12 in
They
passing yards
barely
this year.
even surpassed.
He's top 9 in
Nick,
running backs.
Nick,
he has more yards than Jonathan Taylor, Devin Singletary, Antonio
Devin
Gibson,
Singletary
I don't
sucks.
care. Devin Singletary's horrible.
Chris
But
Carson, Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook was hurt last game. The
Idiot.
Ravens. Here's the thing: is the Ravens can't even run with Lamar anymore, and we saw that last game against the Broncos where they had to do some BS run at the end of the game
Okay.
in garbage time.
The only reason they had the ball at the end of the game was because the Broncos
It's because the Ravens concussed the Broncos quarterback.
Here's the
because
thing.
they tackled him, because they sacked him, because they had a good defense. I
Here's
don't
the
know
thing.
what they're talking about.
I don't care what Harbaugh wants to say. He made this stupid statement. Oh, I don't know if there's a 16-point touchdown that I'm unaware of. With 10 seconds left in the game, if you chuck it to the end zone, I don't care how low of a chance it is. There is a chance you will catch it, get an onside kick, have time for a Hail Mary.
No.
Yeah.
There is a chance of that happening, so I don't blame Vic Fangio
I
at
don't
all
blame
for
Vic
taking that
Fangio at
shot.
all for taking
He
the
should
shot.
take that shot because in the event where they get it, they get the 2-point conversion and kick an onside kick, they have one Hail Mary attempt. And honestly, like if I was in Harbaugh's situation, I would have wanted to protect the record too. I would have
Exactly.
wanted
So
to
you can't
get the
blame
4
him.
yards.
You can't blame
No,
him.
but I blame him for being a complete asshole to Vic
About it,
Fangio
yeah.
after the game.
Okay, yes, I agree.
Like,
wasn't
come
the
on.
best thing, wasn't the best way to handle it, but they were also calling, they said, Vic Fangio said, it's like the, the second, like the nature of the Ravens is to protect their players' injury, like players' health second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like that's not something good.
I mean, if you look at what happened to the Ravens this year,
You look at
yeah,
them. The
Exactly.
Ravens do
I
it.
know.
They
They
have
have
4 injuries. 4 running backs get hurt.
Yeah.
They have a wide receiver who was barely able to be ready for the year, and then you have Marcus Peters who's hurt. Obviously, there's
Rashad
something
Bateman
wrong.
also coming back. You know,
Yeah,
gonna be
there you go.
gonna
Your
make a
rookie
splash.
pick, you somehow injured him.
Somehow he got hurt too.
Like, come on. I mean, there has to be some validity
Well,
behind
if
that
that was
statement.
if that was Fangio's like actual argument, then he wouldn't being down 16 with 20 seconds left. I know there's a theoretical way to win.
Why would he kneel the ball? He's down. He'd
Yeah.
obviously take a shot.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. He wasted 3 of his timeouts down 16 with less than a minute left.
Okay, what about like good quality reps?
That's the same thing about. You could say the same thing about Lamar Jackson getting quality.
No,
reps.
because you don't do good quality reps when you're up. You do good quality reps when you're down, so you
with
can
less than
simulate.
a minute left, down 16.
Yes, because
Yes,
there's
there's
still a chance.
still a chance you
There's
win.
still a chance that you
Very
can make
small
it.
chance.
I don't care
If
how
you're
small.
losing,
Losing,
you
you try till the end. That's how you play sports. You play till the end.
Oh, that's how you play sports. That's
If
how you
you're-
play
he's
sports.
losing.
Then you play to the
He's
end.
losing. But if
You
you're
play to
winning
the
and
end.
you
Regardless,
seconds left, you don't.
You said it yourself. That's how you
They
play
ran,
sports.
they ran the ball
That's
4
how
yards
you-
and fell.
That's how
just
you
to
play sports.
When was the last time that somebody has done that just to try to protect like
a
their
record.
I
Never.
don't know.
Never. Doesn't happen. Doesn't
Okay.
happen.
Well, you also
And
have to look at who
he-
owns the record, and that's the Steelers.
We have to look at.
And you know the rivalry.
Okay,
that
but you
the
have to
Steelers
look
and
at. You have
Ravens
to look at it like this. I am sitting here saying that I would have done the same thing because I value having the record or whatever. I am an 18-year-old kid who is not a coach in the NFL. As a coach in the NFL, you are expected to have a certain amount of professionalism about you. And if you look all the time, Mitchell Trubisky, he threw I think it was his rookie or first year, he threw 6 touchdowns in the first half. They took him out. Even though the record is 7 touchdowns in a game, they took him out in the second half. Because it's not all about records. It's about winning the game and protecting your players. And what if Lamar had gotten hurt? What if he got stuffed for 3 yards and they hurt him? Then Harbaugh would have been the biggest dumbass ever. And it would have been a horrible look. And if a Broncos player got hurt, it would be even worse look right now. And people would be really mad at Harbaugh right now. So I'm just saying, I don't think that is a professional way to handle it as an NFL coach.
It definitely wasn't a professional way to handle it.
Another dark horse for MVP. Not dark horse, but another candidate is probably Matt Stafford. He's been playing really well.
So I think that the same thing that happened, Matthew Stafford, he's been playing great, but I think this is the same thing that happened with Patrick Mahomes in his. This is why I don't like Patrick Mahomes when he won MVP in 2018. Mm-hmm. That roster is absolutely stacked, and Patrick Mahomes, that MVP year, he had 2,000 to 2,500 yards after catch, and it's probably pretty similar to Matthew Stafford at the end of this year. That roster is just so stacked that I feel like it's hard to give him the MVP because that means most valuable player. And I feel like if you're so stacked, then you can put anybody into your position, they would succeed. And you saw that.
They had Jared Goff. And they had almost the same Robert Woods, Van Jefferson.
Yeah, it's literally
they didn't have Deshaun Jackson.
But Cooper Kupp was not as good as he was this year.
Cooper Kupp, but now Matt Stafford being put into the lineup.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
You never know. Maybe
that's where he differs.
Playing well because he has a good quarterback.
That's where he differs. That's where he differs from Patrick Mahomes in that year, I think. And I know
and it's been also we know Matt Stafford's good.
That's true.
The thing is, he's been really good forever, and
he's
now
just been
he has the weapons. And his passer rating this year is insane. He's been playing so well.
Kyler did outplay him, though.
He did. I'm just saying, you can't mention the MVP and not talk about how great of a season.
Yeah, and he's in one of the hardest divisions in the league.
No, he is in the hardest.
That division is really difficult.
It is the
now,
best.
I am not a big fan of the 49ers. I think the 49ers are way overrated.
I agree.
I knew that the Seahawks were going to beat them. The Seahawks,
I think the Seahawks
are just so wishy-washy.
I think they're bad.
Every season.
They've let me down constantly.
I don't know. The thing is, though, they always finish with 12 wins. Even how bad Russell Wilson plays at the end of the year, they still somehow find a way to.
It's because he's so good at the beginning of the year.
I don't think they're going to finish with 12 wins this year.
I mean,
even with the extra game, I don't think.
I think they'll still be 11-12, top of the NFC, still.
Because although that division we said is the best in football, in that they always play close. I just don't see them beating.
I think they'll beat the Cardinals once.
I think
they'll beat the Rams once. Okay, they play Thursday night because that's a Thursday night game. They play the Rams tonight.
They do play tonight.
And although I do believe the Rams will win this game, and I think that it'll be a huge. I think it'll be a shootout. It's going to be a massive shootout.
I'm hoping.
I think it's going to be. You remember that Chiefs Rams game from a couple years ago? I feel like it's not going to be the next step. They're not going to hang 50 points. Both teams are not going to hang 50 points. I don't even think both teams are going to hang 40, but I can definitely see this game ending in a 38-35 or something like that, something crazy. And I think it's going to be a really exciting game. And I think it really will show us the validity of the Seahawks because it also could show us how the Rams are because the Rams, they went in last week to the Cardinals. They got exposed last week, and now they're coming off a short week. We'll see how prepared they are. I think Sean McVay has always been a tad bit overrated because of his age. And I think that having that big running game with Todd Gurley for most of his career, where he could kind of rely on Todd Gurley and then use that to set up play action, I think that was a big part of this.
That was mostly because of how limited he was with Jared Goff.
That's also very possible. We all know Jared Goff is horrible.
Because Jared Goff
he's playing pretty well with the Lions.
He's playing well.
He's got nothing.
Okay, the thing is, he's
playing pretty well. What do you mean? He has Quintez Cephas. You're not a Quintez Cephas fan?
I mean, I'm a fan of Bengal. I love Bengal. You don't know Bengal.
No, I don't know
Bengal. Sub to his YouTube. Bengal.
No, don't plug somebody else's YouTube. But I really think that this game could be very telling for both the Seahawks and the Rams. And I'm not saying that if the Seahawks win tonight to completely jump ship on the Rams and say they suck.
Sure.
They have the star ability to compete in any game and be competitive for the entire season. But this could prove. I would not be surprised if the Seahawks walked out of here with a win today. Because you think about it,
Is it home or away for Who's home?
I think the Seahawks are at home. But
Seahawks.
yeah, Seahawks are at home. But the thing is they always play good at the beginning of the season. You think about the Seahawks.
They lost to the Vikings, though.
The thing is, I think
they did lose to the Vikings.
They also
that
lost
was
to
a horrible loss.
They also lost
Very
to the
bad.
Titans. The thing with the Seahawks is they start off very well. They score like 17 points. They score a lot in the first half, and then that offense, it just dries out.
I'm just
and
saying,
they can't score
watch
in the second half.
for 2 Tyler Lockett touchdowns today from Russell Wilson. I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if Tyler Lockett. You remember that game that Tyler Lockett had versus the Cardinals last year?
that was
He
insane.
put up like 51 fantasy points. He had like
That was
260
so crazy.
yards and 3 touchdowns. I would not be surprised if we saw that same kind of fight from Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett today, and I think that they might walk out of there.
See, the thing is, I think the Seahawks are good. I don't
I don't have
any confidence in them beating the Rams, dude.
I don't have confidence in their defense. Their defense
is so bad. I
And
feel like
their offense isn't
like,
good enough
with
to carry a bad defense.
Deshaun Jackson, Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson.
Okay,
So they all can
I
just
have to ask
torch
you this.
the Seahawks secondary.
I have to ask you this: how are we feeling about Jalen Ramsey versus DK Metcalf?
Jalen Ramsey's gonna lock him up.
Yeah.
You think?
It's gonna be
Jalen
that
Ramsey
side of
owns
the field is gonna
DK
be
Metcalf.
non-existent.
It's not even a question anymore.
Yeah, I mean, so DK Metcalf, he's obviously a freak of nature, but the thing is I mean,
He's
compared to
not
the
that
hype he had last year, that dude's been silent this year.
It
If you
depends.
actually look, that man has been outplayed by Hunter Renfrow every step of the way. And you
Dirty
know I
Renfrow,
love
baby.
Hunter Renfrow. I am a big Hunter Renfrow fan.
Dirty
I love that
Renfrow.
man. I'm telling you, he is the next best slot receiver in the league. And I'm telling you, he's like the looks of Adam Thielen, because you see Adam Thielen on the Vikings. He always had Stephon Diggs as a number 1 receiver, so Adam Thielen had his
Now they
free
have
range
Justin
to do whatever he
Jefferson.
wants. And then you had Justin Jefferson. Adam
Yeah.
Thielen, free range to do whatever he wants. Now you have Hunter Renfrow over here, and they have what's his name? Henry Ruggs and
Brian
Darren
Edwards.
Waller.
Brian Edwards too.
Yeah, and Brian Edwards and Darren Waller, which leads, and everybody's always going to underestimate like the short white slot receiver. So I'm just telling you, you put Hunter Renfrow in that position, and you look at some of the routes he runs, he has potential to be like a sneaky threat. He's put up over 10 fantasy points in every game that he's played this year.
He's good. He's good. He's definitely good.
He's good for at least
I
9
don't know,
targets
dude.
and 6 receptions a game.
Yeah.
Like that dude, I'm
And a
telling you,
touchdown.
he will be seen as like by the end of this year, or maybe it'll take a little longer because people like to people lag a year behind a lot of times. By the end of next year, he will be regarded as a top 10 receiver, and I'm confident in that. I am a
I
big
don't know.
top 10
Dude,
receiver.
there's so many good receivers in the NFL. DJ Moore is not top 10.
I wouldn't
No,
say that.
and
'Cause
he's
think about
so
it.
good.
Think about it. You have this isn't in any order, by the way, but you have Terry McLaurin. You have I would put Tyler
That's the
Lockett.
first name you got.
I would put
Wow.
Tyler
These
Lockett.
are-
We're just gonna stop
We're
this
gonna stop
list
it
right
right
now.
Why? No, I
Because
did say
the
it
first
should
should
two
have
names
easily
you
gone
named.
Tyreek.
Tyreek.
Yes,
Stephon
Tyreek,
Diggs.
obviously. And
Devontae
Stephon Diggs,
Adams.
that's 4, that's 5.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams,
DeAndre
that's 5.
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins,
Michael
that's 6.
Thomas.
I wouldn't put him in there right now. I'm sorry. I would not put
But
he has to regain my trust. He has to regain my
Are you
trust.
serious right now?
I can't
Julio?
sit here and say I don't know about Julio.
I don't know about Julio anymore.
I can't sit
And I
here
wouldn't
and
say AJ Brown either.
You wouldn't say.
I can't sit here and say Hunter Renfrow will
DK?
be a top 10. He's very consistent.
Sneaky.
He's very consistent.
But I cannot.
He's
does
not flashy.
He's not an X. He's exactly. You
He's
need
not
that
a flashy
flash.
receiver.
You need to have an X. Like you need to have like
Yes, he's-
an X factor thing where you can change the game.
I
Like,
understand
He's very
that.
consistent. He's short. He's good for short passes, a lot of receptions, and a touchdown.
But he's
it.
reliable.
That's it. No, but it.
But think about it.
If you think about
Chris
top 10,
Godwin,
you're gonna
Mike
think.
Evans.
If I'm in a draft right now, if I was drafting, I would take Hunter Renfrow over Chris Godwin.
I don't
Right
know.
now, I would.
I don't know because you need.
I
that-
might even I would take Chris Godwin over a lot of other receivers simply because that reliability. I know he can get open, and I know he can catch the ball. That dude doesn't drop. He's like the only receiver I would say that's more reliable than him is like Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, maybe like Larry
Keenan
Fitzgerald when he plays. That's what I see Cooper Kupp as. He's like Larry Fitzgerald. Like he's not the fastest.
that's true,
He's
yeah.
not going to torch you deep, but he's reliable.
Oh.
He'll be open, and that's why it's 3rd and Renfrow for the Raiders.
Third and
Third
Renfrow.
down always goes to Renfrow. He gets 9 targets
He's really
a game.
good. He's really good.
I don't
He's
know.
not top 10.
He's
not top 10.
By the end of next year.
Next year he will not be
He
top
will not
10.
be top 10.
I don't know.
That's just too
I'm a
much.
big Hunter Renfrow fan. I would not be surprised.
All right, Nick, what's your pick for tonight's game? Rams or Seahawks?
I think easily Rams.
Easily?
Easily.
I think this is going to be a hard fought
think-
battle.
I think it's gonna be close.
I think it's going to be a very easy Ram. They're not a very easy. I think in the first half, it's going to be neck and neck, going back and forth, touchdown and touchdown. I don't see the Seahawks stringing together enough
Score prediction.
stops. Score prediction.
Oh,
I think Rams 31, Seahawks 21.
All right. So for me, I am going first half. Seahawks are going to come out, score 2 straight touchdowns, hold the Rams to nothing. They're going to be 14-0, similar to the Chargers-Raiders game. It's going to come out 14-0, and then they'll probably go into half, maybe up by a score. And then the Rams are just going to come out in the second half and completely blow the brakes off the Seahawks. And we know that the Seahawks cannot clock manage, especially with Chris Carson out. They have Alex Collins in there. They're not going to be able to manage.
sleep on Alex
Collins is involved.
Don't sleep on Alex Collins.
I don't care. I know you're happy because he was on the Ravens or whatever. I do not believe in Alex Collins to be able to get the job done. Especially the Ravens had a good running scheme. They had a good O-line. Seahawks
are awful. Seahawks are awful when it comes to the run game. When it comes to the run game, they are one of the worst teams.
It's weird because you always look at them, you're like, wow. Like, you look at them on tape, you're like, wow, they can't run block. But then you go and you look back at, like, each season, and they're somehow at the top of – they're almost at the top of rushing offenses every year somehow. And I don't really understand how.
Because of the running backs.
But my final score tonight is, I have to say, I'm going, like, 38-34 Rams. 38-34 Rams.
That's a lot. You think the Seahawks? Let me just.
My
I
final
don't
score
know.
is going to
I
be.
don't know if they can put up that many points.
They can. They
I
definitely
think they
can.
can.
They definitely can. With Russell Wilson.
With Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett. I think Tyler Lockett will have 2 receiving touchdowns tonight, and I think that him and Russell Wilson are going to combine, and they're going to kind of will the Seahawks to victory.
I agree with that.
Not to victory,
not to
but
victory.
not to the victory,
Not to
but
victory.
like to a large amount of points.
My final score is similar to yours. 38-31 Rams.
38-31. I think that's a respectable score.
I think it's going to be 38-31.
38-31 is a pretty good score. I think I could tend to agree with that. I'm just betting on one more field goal. But and then let's go into upsets of the week. My pick for upset of the week, Jets over Falcons. Book it right now. Jets over Falcons. The Falcons are going to be out Calvin Ridley. They're going to be out
Russell Gage.
Russell
Gage is out.
And they don't know how to use Kyle Pitts yet. And I don't know how they don't know how to use Kyle Pitts.
Offensive coordinators.
It's so easy to use Kyle Pitts.
Dude.
You have him run a drag, and you give him the ball, and he runs after the catch.
Falcons are just dumb. That's just.
I agree. They're the worst team in the league at this point. And I think the Jets will upset them in London early on Sunday morning. And I have confidence that the Jets will come off of their win off the Titans. And you can be like, oh, well, the Titans didn't have the receivers. The Falcons don't have their receivers this week, and they're a much worse team without their receivers. They don't have a Derrick Henry. You can say Cordarrelle Patterson all you want. I don't care about his 3-touchdown performance last week because it's Cordarrelle Patterson. That's a fluke.
Like, what has he done?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think Cordarrelle Patterson can play well. I just don't think he's gonna have 3 touchdowns.
No, I think he's gonna do very well. Maybe it's just because I'm hopeful.
You have him on your team.
He's on my fantasy team,
Yeah.
but I think he'll do a lot. It's definitely not gonna. It might not be enough. Someone else needs to step up.
Yeah,
and
it definitely
contribute.
has to.
No, I think
Someone needs to help out Matt Ryan.
and
that defense.
maybe
Dude,
this is
that
the
offensive
game.
line is putrid.
It's horrible.
It's so bad.
And their defense is absolutely disgusting. You're telling me that you're going to give up 32 points to the Eagles? Like, come on.
I think Kyle Pitts might have a huge.
Maybe this is a game that they finally learn how to use Kyle Pitts
because they have no one else.
I'm taking Zach Wilson is coming off of his first win, his first real good game as an NFL quarterback, and I think he's going to ride this. And I think that him and the Jets will find a way to upset the Falcons. Mm-hmm. And I would be willing to bet on that.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I'm stiff for my upset. I'm also sticking with New York, but the Giants.
No way.
I think the Giants will go into Dallas.
Dallas?
I think they go into Dallas and beat the Cowboys.
Dallas just routed.
I think no.
Dallas just absolutely routed the Panthers.
I don't think Dallas is that good of a team. They're good. But I don't think they're as good as people are saying.
Come on.
I think Daniel Jones in that offense, especially with Saquon getting better, and they're
Dude,
finally
I don't know,
finally
dude.
working.
That's
him
a
in.
good
They just
pick.
went
dude.
against
They're
one-
finally working him in, and he's
He's
doing
playing
well.
well.
He's
Daniel
doing
Jones,
well.
Saquon, they're
Daniel
all
Jones
playing well.
is being slept on this year.
He's playing well, dude. Daniel
And,
Jones
and
is
I
good.
know you hate them
I
because
know,
they're in
you're
the
an Eagles
Eagles
fan, but-
division.
So are the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. But the thing is
I think the
the-
Giants. I think the Giants have a
the
very
Cowboys
good chance.
just
of
went
upset.
against one of the best defenses and the best secondaries in the league and put up 34 points on them. Like, I just don't see the Giants. The Giants defense is respectable. I don't see them able to stop that. Like, I really
that's
don't.
tr- Like
That's true.
They have.
that's
who-
why it's an upset. That's
But
why
who
it's an
has?
upset.
But who? But I think
That's
it's
why
an
I think-
unrealistic upset. Like
I don't think it is.
who has the amount of defensive firepower to stop all of Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb,
I'm just
Ezekiel
going to stop you right
Elliott?
now. Not the Giants.
Yeah,
Not the
not
Giants.
not.
But I
mean,
think
the Giants. They got James.
these
Bradbury.
division games are always
They're
close.
always
That's true.
And,
That's fair.
And the Giants are missing Blake
They're
Martinez.
coming off a big win last
Coming
week
off a big
against the Saints.
big victory, but their defense is missing Blake Martinez.
That's a big hit.
So big loss there. But I think I'm confident
I think that's a good pick.
in the Giants to
My
at
upset
least have
pick-
a chance against the
You know
Cowboys.
what my upset pick is, Nick?
What?
It's Colts over the Ravens.
I knew
Yeah,
I knew
Colts
this
over
one.
Ravens.
Colts all day.
I like that.
I
I can
know.
respect
I
that
like
pick.
that pick, dude.
Carson Wentz,
Carson Wentz played well last week.
one of the most underrated
He's
players in
playing
the league.
so well. I
He-
know their
oh.
offensive line is banged up, but that defense is still good,
Carson-
and they can
yeah.
still play.
Being a
He
Ravens
might
fan,
not
still
be-
play.
I definitely respect that pick. Going into this season, I thought the Colts were going to be a lot better
Me
than,
too.
than a 1-3
But here's the
team.
thing: is their defense is horrible, and they've had one of the hardest schedules in the
They
league.
have
so
had a
far.
really hard schedule.
Their schedule,
They,
has
they
been
no, they've
ridiculous.
gotten destroyed with their schedule, but
And
they're,
their
they're
defense
not a
is
bad
really
team
hard-
whatsoever.
It's really bad. But the thing is Carson Wentz. I know he's not the flashy player he was in 2017.
He's still.
But he is playing at an elite level right now. He has, if you want to talk about passer rating, his passer rating is over 100. He doesn't throw picks. His big thing last year was that he was kind of
getting
inaccurate.
rattled.
He was getting rattled. The Eagles' offensive line was
Completely.
one of the worst
They were
I've
all-
ever watched.
it was
They
so
were
bad last
absolutely
year.
horrendous. The only thing for me is the Colts is without Quentin Nelson, now that he's on IR,
Mhm.
can they continue to block? And so far they haven't. Like
I
Carson
don't-
Wentz is one
like-
of the most pressured quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
But he's handling it well. I think he needed that change of scenery. When the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts, I think it hurt him, and I think it kind of like imagine you're a quarterback, you just carried
Your team.
one of the worst offensive groups in NFL history to the playoffs. His receivers were Greg Ward, and
Like,
that's about it. Like he didn't
Greg
have. I
Ward.
mean, he had Zach Ertz, but even him at the end of the year, he
Yeah.
had it
He-
punctured lung.
he got
He was hurt. Dallas Goedert got hurt. At that point, he had nobody, and he carried them to the playoffs. And then what does the Eagles do?
Well, I don't-
Instead of drafting,
I think-
they pick Jalen Rager
Jalen
over
Reagor.
Justin Jefferson, and then the second round pick, they draft Carson Wentz replacement.
I
In the
think-
second round, they draft Jalen
Jalen
Hurts.
Hurts.
They could have gotten Denzel
I
Mims.
think you're making it seem a little more heroic than it is.
It
We
was
have-
heroic.
We have to remember NFC East, not the best division.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Football.
matter. There was a
Do you
heroic.
remember their record? I don't remember it, but
Yeah, it was like 9-7. It was a heroic. It was a heroic run.
9-7 would not get you to the playoffs in another division.
I don't care because it did get them to the playoffs in their division. And you know what? He came up clutch. He beat 3 division rivals in 3 straight games. And he played at an elite level with absolutely no supporting cast. So I don't care how bad the teams they were playing were because his team was bad.
Yes.
So he came out, won those games, and what do the Eagles do? They
draft-
draft Jalen Rager, and then in the second round when Denzel
Jalen
Mims is available, or they could
J.K.
have,
Dobbins too,
yeah.
because I remember I wanted the Ravens to take Denzel
Well, I mean,
Mims.
they had Miles Sanders. They didn't really need J.K.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't like Miles Sanders anyways.
Well, that's just the
That's-
coaching staff.
yeah.
But they take Jalen Hurts. I still don't
That's
see the
so
logic.
funny. He's so bad.
I think
don't like Hurts at all.
if they didn't draft Jalen Hurts, that year for the Eagles would have been a completely different year. And you could see that from how they started the season. If you go in that first game they played at home versus Washington, the Eagles came out, took a 17-point lead.
Mhm.
They were playing fantastic. And then with a minute left in the first half, they throw a bomb downfield and it was picked off. And ever since that, it just collapsed. And I think that it's just imagine being a franchise quarterback proving that you're a franchise
And then your
quarterback
team
and you can
just
win.
doesn't
And then
care
they
about
just
you.
don't respect you. And that's what happened to Andrew Luck. That's why
Exactly
Andrew
what
Luck
happened to him.
retired early because they just never supported him. And that's why Aaron Rodgers was mad too. They never got him any support, and they drafted his replacement. They're a win-now
Yeah.
team, and they drafted his replacement.
They traded up.
In the first
They
round.
traded
too.
up
Not even the second
to
round.
the first
in the
round,
first round.
to draft a quarterback.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
and it might end up being good for them in the long run. Maybe
you save
Love
a
will
lot
be
of money.
great, and you save a lot of money. Love will be pretty good because unlike all these other horrible rookie quarterbacks that are being thrown in to start in their first season and getting absolutely trashed, you have this guy who's sitting behind a top 5 quarterback of all time for the first couple years of his career, and that's what Rodgers did. He sat behind Favre for 3 years. So I think that might be a good path for the future, but for now, for Aaron Rodgers, and Carson Wentz was only 29. Like
Yeah,
I just don't. They ruined him, but now on the Colts, he's coming
coming
back,
back.
and he will beat the Ravens.
He will beat the Ravens.
He will beat the Ravens.
No.
Yes.
He will not. But I respect it. It's gonna. The spread, I think it was at -7.5 the last time I checked. Should not be that.
It should not be.
that.
It should be
big.
close.
It should be close.
I hope the Ravens streak ends.
No, I know you
ends
do.
This game.
I know you do.
I hope it does.
I know you
No,
both
after
do.
they
You
went
guys-
through
you guys-
so
After they
much.
did that at the end of the
After
game
they did
against
that at
the
the end of the
Broncos,
game,
I
I hope
really
it
hope-
comes to an end.
That would be sick.
All right,
It won't. It won't.
lock of the week. What-
Patriots over Texans.
I mean, the Patriots aren't great, but the Texans are the Texans. So I feel
Patriots
like
over
that's pretty
Texans.
safe.
That's a safe one for me.
I think.
Buccaneers over Dolphins for me. I mean, Jacoby Brissett's still in there. He didn't play bad against the Raiders. but
Jacoby Brissett isn't bad.
he's not bad, but I mean, it's the Buccaneers. The only thing is the Buccaneers defense, like, they have no cornerbacks.
They have no corners, but will the Dolphins be able to score? No.
They won't. So I would take
really
Buccaneers over Dolphins.
I think the Titans bounce back.
No,
And
that's your luck.
They beat the Jags. I think. I mean,
That's a
the
good one. I mean,
Jaguars.
it is the Jaguars,
But then again, it was the Jets last week, and we had a similar conversation.
We had a very similar conversation.
But I think AJ Brown practiced today. He looks to be on track to
might be
play.
playing, so.
That's good.
Julio, I don't think he practiced
Dude,
today.
I don't even know what's wrong with Julio.
Julio, I don't know what's
He
happening,
doesn't-
but I
even
think
when he does play, he just.
I think they were embarrassed in that game.
they should be.
All right,
They should be embarrassed.
They lost to the Jets.
Not only did they had a chance to end in a tie and they missed that field goal. Like that's
yeah.
a brutal way to lose. I don't see them coming back, bringing AJ Brown back and losing to an 0-4 team with a rookie quarterback and everything going on in that
Urban
locker room
Meyer.
with Urban Meyer. There was a report this week that the Jaguars weren't even talking about the Titans game. They were just in meetings about Urban Meyer. And I think
that's
that's
such a big
too big of a
distraction.
distraction for not a good enough team.
Yeah.
All right, game of the
to
week.
beat Derrick Henry.
Game of the week. For me, it's got to be Browns Chargers.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
Browns Chargers,
Chargers.
or maybe
Bills, Chiefs.
Packers
Oh,
Bengals.
Bills Chiefs.
Packers Bengals.
Bills Chiefs.
Bills Chiefs.
I think
it's going to be a
Bills
great
Chiefs.
game,
I
but
like-
I think that the Bills will
I
come
think that
out.
the Bills are gonna win too.
They're going to win by more than one possession.
The Bills will win.
They
I think
are
the Bills will
hurt
win.
by
No
that
way.
AFC Championship loss.
The Bills are gonna win.
I-
The Chiefs
I-
defense cannot stop anyone.
I gotta stick with Browns, Chargers. Those are the two future teams of the AFC, along with the Bills, obviously.
And Ravens.
But no,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
no.
Yes. You guys can't tell me. Okay.
Okay, we're
Besides
talking
the
about
point,
this.
Besides the point. Besides.
Browns, Chargers will be a great game. It's two completely different schemes going up against each other, and
I'm not saying it won't be a great game.
I don't think
but
the Browns are that good.
Bills Chiefs.
here's the thing about the Chiefs and the Bills. Kind of exposed this last year in the AFC Championship, and then the Buccaneers
Really
took
did.
advantage of that in the Super Bowl. They can't, for some reason, they cannot beat cover 2 because
can't.
their big
Because
thing.
they
sent
don't
Tyreek
want
Hill
to
deep.
run. They don't want to run the ball. To beat cover 2, you have to run the ball and
Yes.
make them drop a safety.
And, like-
the Chiefs don't want to run the ball. And even if they tried
Yes.
to run the ball against the Buccaneers just stopped.
Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes is great at reading the field. Don't get me wrong, but when he
You
looks,
can only do so much.
when he looks over the top and he sees Tyreek Hill bracketed by the two high safeties, he panics,
and he
runs backwards 9 yards, and then gets sacked for a huge loss, or gets into a point we saw in the Super Bowl where all of a sudden he's just dancing around and then has to chuck
He
it.
has to fucking get down.
That's when I was so
horizontal,
mad
get the ball.
with that throw. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, he threw this sideways." He would not have had to throw that sideways
didn't run
if he
around
didn't
for
run
no
around.
reason.
He was trying to extend the play and
I don't
make
care.
something out
But
of
here's
it.
the thing:
though.
you have to extend the play to the sides. what happens is Mahomes, when he feels pressure,
Russell Wilson does
goes
this too.
back.
Yes, he
Yeah.
gets into, and Jalen Hurts does it too. He has this really bad habit of just kind of like shuffling backwards, and before you know it, he's back 9 yards, and that's fine when you're on your side of the field and you have the fastest receivers in the world, so they can just kind of run deep, and you have a great arm, so you can shuck it as far as you can. But when you saw in the Super Bowl is he tried to do that when they were on the 20-yard line, which means there was no space to extend the play. And the further you go back, the smaller those windows to throw gets. And he just absolutely ruined all chance of being able to fit those
And
windows.
last year, the Bills and Chiefs played. The Bills could not get any pressure on Patrick Mahomes, so he just stood there and he just made throws. The Bills have gotten consistent pressure this year. They spent their first-round pick and second-round pick last year on pass rush.
I think
And
Rousseau is going to have a really
Rousseau, Boogie Basham, they're both playing now. The Bills are getting consistent pressure. I think this is the game the Bills knock out the Chiefs.
I agree. I think this is the game that proves that the Bills are the team
best
to
team.
beat.
They're
They're
the
the
best team
team
in
to
the
beat in the
AFC.
AFC.
They will be there.
And I am confident that the Bills.
I don't think
Super Bowl.
I don't think they're taking it from the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs
They've
have
shut out.
lost it.
They shut out
I think
two
the Chiefs
teams
have
this
lost
game.
it long
Yeah.
ago because I mean the Ravens aren't a great team, but when the Ravens beat the Chiefs, I think that really showed. And then the Chiefs went to lose again
To the Chargers.
to the Chargers. I
Yeah.
think that shows that they're not the best team in the AFC.
And I think
at least right
Patrick
now.
Mahomes is getting a little cocky. You see, a couple weeks ago, he threw against the Chargers. He threw an interception while trying to throw a no-look pass, which I could not wait for that to happen. For him to get so cocky, he would throw a no-look pass and it would just be way off the mark. And that happened. He threw it behind and it got picked off. And I think, and he got a little cocky when he was like, when somebody asked about Justin Herbert, and he was like, "I'll believe it when I see it." And then Justin Herbert comes out and beats him. And
like,
He actually
believe
said,
it.
"I'll see it when I believe it."
I'll see
Yeah.
it when I believe it.
Yeah,
And he's like,
so-
well, I guess I believe it now.
yeah, so I cannot wait for the Bills to dethrone the Chiefs, and I'm really excited because I think that this will. I mean, the Bills have shut out two teams this year, and I don't care who they are. The Texans. and
It's
the
hard to
Dolphins.
do, no matter.
It is no matter
who
is there. I mean, the Texans are horrible. The Dolphins are horrible, but
with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
but
But Tua did play that game. He got hurt.
yes, but it's shutting out two teams regardless of the NFL is really difficult, and they've done it twice. So I
Their
have
defense is
their
coming to
defense
play.
is
and
legit.
you know their offense is going to be there. So.
Yeah. And I think that's gonna about do it.
Yep.
So thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with more picks and more discussions on what transpires in Week 5, and we hope to see you then.